Welcome to the Home Business Podcast with Richard Captain Henderson, publisher of Home Business Magazine, and Sherilyn Colleen, managing editor. This how-to show helps you successfully operate your home-based business.
Greetings and welcome to the Home Business Podcast. I'm Richard Captain Henderson, your skipper at Home Business TV.
And I'm Sherilyn Colleen, your co-host.
Let's secure for sea and get underway. What happens when you lose your brother-in-law, your job, your home all in 1 week, and you're stuck in a third world country with no job opportunities?
Elaine Rao had to learn how to make an income online ASAP. So she spent her last bit of savings and invested in a blog domain, LadyBossBlogger.com.
Since its inception, LadyBossBlogger has garnered a massive audience of over 100,000 in less than a year and a half. It's a platform that helps female entrepreneurs how to start up, grow, and scale their own online business and blogs.
Elaine Rao shares with our audience today key points, including social media marketing, on getting started up as an income-producing blogger.
Elaine has been featured on Huffington Post, Thrive Global, and over 100-plus websites, magazines, and books.
So greetings, Elaine Rao. Welcome to the Home Business Podcast. Say hello to our podcast audience.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on our show.
Thanks for connecting in. Where are you connecting in from today?
Chi-Town, Chicago.
Outstanding.
Elaine, you have put together great tips on blogging that we'll post on our podcast website. Let's talk about some key points today. First of all, how do you select a profitable niche for a blog, the foundation to making money?
If there is a lot of interest in your specific niche, it's more than likely going to be profitable, because in order to be profitable, you need people interested in your topic who will be wanting to research it and wanting to learn more about it, and therefore wanting to invest in resources to do so. I actually wrote a 12 most profitable niches blog post talking about the top 12 most profitable niches, top including healthcare, fitness, wellness. Those are definitely among the top, alongside with parenting, fashion, lifestyle. All those are very, very profitable niches.
So a little bit on these niches. I guess they don't change that much over time, relatively speaking, these 12 niches. But even if it's a profitable niche, there's plenty of demand to go around. So you don't have to worry about too many people getting into that niche. There's always room for somebody else to get in on these niches if they do a good blog and provide good quality content.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely, I feel like you can tap into anything as long as you're willing and available and willing to go the extra mile. I feel like the ones that succeed, the ones that, can bring their blog to where they want it to be, is the ones that invest the most amount of time. So, yeah.
Great. Well, moving on to style and content in a blog, Lane, how do you capture your audiences with A+ headlines and writing?
There are two formulas that are the best. Number one is how-to, and number two is a list format. So as long as you make it clickable, like as long as you write it as how somebody would type it into Google, like for example, how to fashion your hair, how to, cook up, a roast beef, whatever it is, make those headlines what they will type into, as well as lists. Like, lists are just something that's really easy to read, something that, gives people already inclination of what they're going to be reading, like, 12 best ways to XYZ. Then they're ready and available to be like, oh, okay, yeah, like that. I want to know 12 ways to, do this thing or do this activity. So these are the two best formulas to craft your blog post headlines.
So these headlines and lists, it's a way to help you kind of do search engine optimization. You're thinking about kind of the way the search engines do when you type this in.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Right. And do you have to, it sounds like you don't have to get into a lot of depth and content on the different lists. Is there, do you recommend a lot of depth and detail, or is it try to keep, as Shakespeare would say, brevity is the soul of wit, try to keep less content for the, for the list that you're bringing up?
No, more is always better, because the more content that you give, the more it's going to be shared, the more it's going to be viewed, and the more useful it's going to be. How Google ranks you is the usefulness of, how long people stay on your page, how many times it's shared. This is the kind of stuff that Google looks for. So the more, time people spend, which equals to more content, the higher you'll rank.
Yeah, that's a really good point to bring out to our audience. We talk a lot about SEO, but I don't think anybody's hit that really good point, that it's not only about how you actually word things, but the length of time that people stay on your content and share it, that's really important for SEO too. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah. Another thing that's very important for SEO is actually your alt tags, which is basically the photos that how you optimize your photo. So whatever photos that you put into your post needs to have an alt tag, and that's before you post it. They'll have like, description, alt tag, and I think something else there. But basically, the alt tag allows the computer to read your photo for what it is. So if it's an image of a woman on a computer, then the best would be to put the name of your blog as well as woman on computer, so that the computer can understand and read what that is, and then also adding your keywords into that image, so that like if your blog post is about how to create the best blog post, then it could be like woman creating blog post on computer on LadyBossBlogger.com, written by Elaine Rao.
The key lesson you're giving to our listeners here is, when you're keying these blog posts in, think about SEO. Put that into everything you're doing, and that'll help you rank.
Because SEO, that's if you're going to put so much time creating your content and distributing it, the best way to do it is if you optimize it already, and then let the hard work be done for you by the computer and by everyone else afterwards.
Not getting too much into the weeds here, but do you recommend any kind of a platform to help with the SEO? Like Yoast is one, or do you have any other?
I use Yoast. Yeah, that's the best, I think.
I think I mispronounced that, Yoast. Okay.
That's how I pronounce it. I don't know.
Before moving on to our next topic, I'll highlight this show's sponsor, Shane Douglas, one of the home-based industry's top earners and trainers. He is looking to train the right motivated individuals, get paid when people pay their monthly utility bills. Shane Douglas has a business model to prosper off the paying of these bills. For more information, visit www.betheone.com. That's BTHE1.com. Or visit our podcast website for more information on sponsors.
Now, social media is the most important avenue in promoting your new blog. Let's talk about Pinterest. Elaine, you say it's the best place to gain blog traffic. Why is that?
So I didn't realize this until I actually got onto Pinterest. I had my blog and I was getting my stuff from Google. But once I got on Pinterest, Pinterest is like the visual Google. So if you notice, if you have a Pinterest account just for fun, and you go and you search your name, all the images in Google actually be from your Pinterest profile, because that's how they rank. Yeah. So basically, it's a way to search, search visually.
So you recommend Pinterest. All right. I guess it doesn't take a lot of work to get involved with Pinterest. I frankly don't know a lot about. After talking to you here, I'm going to look into Pinterest a little bit more, because you have some fascinating points. But you're saying it doesn't really take that much time with Pinterest to integrate that into your blog?
It does. It takes a lot of time. It's a lot of effort. It's because Pinterest is not a social media platform. It's a search engine, which is why a lot of people are confused about that. You don't talk on Pinterest. You don't communicate. You don't follow for follow. That's not how it works. What you do is you search for what you're looking for. You're searching for what you want to buy. You're searching for what you want to learn about. That's how you use Pinterest, right? And then you pin that to your board. Now, every single time someone pins something to their board, they're basically helping you share your content. So if no other platform will do that, Facebook, some people might do it, but like Pinterest is like the number one. They're very generous when it comes to traffic and giving you that traffic. Instagram, you have one link that you can do. They're not a platform where they're interested in giving you the traffic or giving you those links, but Pinterest is.
Well, you brought out a key point there. There's no shortcuts. Pinterest and social media and blogging, it all takes time, and you just have to, there's no free lunch on it. You have to have a mindset that you're going to invest the time and effort to create the good content, and then do what you need to do to market it through all the online channels, including social media. Well, on social media, Instagram is another key social media channel. You want to be a social media influencer. Elaine, how should a new blogger use Instagram?
Instagram is a place where people go to check out people's lives. So it's as well, like basically it's a place where you want to transport them or into your life as well as so that people can get to know you. So it's more of a personal brand than it is necessarily a blog, like a place where you share your blog posts. However, I have come up with a way to do that. So I actually have two. One is my personal brand, which is Elaine Rao, and the other one is at LadyBossBlogger, which is my blogs brand. So with my personal stuff, I share my own stuff, I share motivational stuff, whatever it's going on in my life. If I'm doing yard work, like what I posted yesterday, that's what I share because people want to know a lot of people ask like, who is Lady Boss Blogger? There were like conspiracy theories going on. I was like, okay, let me just like show up so that people won't be like,
my attention,
yeah, like making up their own stories. So I was like, okay, let me do this so that, people can know. But also what I do is I basically just write out my blog post headline as the post, and because I just share the same thing I basically rotate between my headline as well as an inspirational quote from a lady that I feature on my blog. So it's like it's a gridded platform. So people can always expect at 6 p.m. I post every single day at the same time, which is first off, if you want to be successful on social media, especially Instagram, you have to post every single day. I suggest every single day at the same exact time, just so that your audience can get to know you and kind of like have a consistent flow. Every time maybe they get off work and they're like, oh, they get on their phone 6 p.m. and they're like, okay, they can engage with my content every single day, because what day are you not on social media? You're on there every single day, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to be there whenever people are on there. But the best way is definitely to, for Instagram specifically, is to share who you are so that people connect to you personally, because that is a very personal platform. That's what, that's what commenting, liking, DMs are for, Instagram is all about stories. So,
what do you think of this? I've heard people refer to Instagram as your reality TV channel.
I would agree. But there's been a shift with not necessarily reality TV, but just real life, it's just like, this is what's going on, like reality TV, there's like a spin off of it, but like Instagram is so genuine. It's so real because it's just people living life, you're doing live streams, like, hey, check me out. I'm, on a podcast. Yeah. It's like, okay, yeah, I can do that too. Instead of like reality TV, it's very curated, even though they say reality TV.
Pulling out a couple of key nuggets you're bringing there with social media and all is to post regularly, post daily if possible, and try to stick to the same time each day. So I guess sticking to the same time helps you to build that community and create that community, which is which is critical for long-term growth and referrals. Exactly.
And here's a tip on Instagram. A lot of people I realize don't know about this, but basically you can actually have drafts in Instagram. So you don't have to use a social media scheduler or anything like that. What I personally like to use is just the drafts. So you'll create your content, and then you'll tap back twice, and it'll get you into your drafts folder. And then you can just store up all your drafts so that you can post directly. This way you can tag people, you can geotag, you can have all your hashtags created. Everything is set to go. All you do is post. With auto posters and stuff, they don't allow you to tag and do all that stuff. So this is the best way that I found that has just definitely freed up my time. I literally just create 30 posts in an hour, boom, done. All I have to do is post and comment, once I actually post it. So
you got to figure out how to automate things. And that sounds like a great way to automate what you're doing is to, spend a certain time each day to create a lot of different drafts. And then if you use the social media right, the platform right, it'll distribute those at the right time.
An important way for bloggers to generate long-term revenue is by working with brands. Elaine, what's the deal with convincing brands to work with you?
I think it goes back down to your niche. Basically, if your brand and your niche aligns with that brand and their niche, then it's a very natural fit. A lot of times you're like, there's a difference between what you want and what you have. So then what you want to create is something that, sometimes you might be talking about food all the time, but then you're really interested in fashion too, and then which is great. But like whatever content you're curating isn't necessarily in alignment with that like food brand that you want to work with, or vice versa, whatever. So you just have to make sure that your content that you're creating is in line with the brand that you're reaching out to, and that it makes sense. It's just like, there's a lot of brands that reach out to me that are like, hey, like, can you, talk about this tampon or like stuff. I'm just like, no, like I talk about entrepreneurship, like there's disconnect, where, like, yes, it's woman, but like, they don't know my brand. So then, you know what I mean? So that if you know that brand and if you know what they're talking about, then naturally it'll be a good fit and they'll work with you.
So it's get started by making a connection, obviously, with the content you post up, but do you use some certain kinds of social media channels to make that connection with with the brands, such as LinkedIn, to actually make that connection? Or should you rely more on these brands coming to you after you have built up a good channel for them?
I would definitely reach out. I mean, pitching is the number one skill that you can definitely learn and hone. LinkedIn, how I use LinkedIn is if I can't find like a certain contact that I want, then I will go on LinkedIn and like for my Elf Cosmetics, I basically looked on LinkedIn for Elf Cosmetics, and people who work there. I reached out to like, 20, 30, maybe it was 40 people who work there to ask for the contact of the influencer marketing person, and one person got back to me. So basically doing your due diligence if you really, really want to work with a brand really, really bad. And they don't have a lot of information out there because they're such a huge brand. Definitely LinkedIn, but there's actually a ton of other resources such as like social media influencer platforms that you can just sign up and be a creator, and they'll just send you, different things, different promotions and different campaigns that you can sign up for directly to your inbox.
What you're talking about here is so critical for home-based entrepreneurs, because you're touching on the tidal wave that's changing the whole environment, where everything is going to content marketing vice traditional advertising, and that's what this bleeds into. Then, with working with brands, it all comes under that heading of content marketing, and how important that is for brands to get their messages out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, content marketing, not only, it's this way of building trust, like you're not just like there just advertising, like the old school way of doing things. You're providing a valuable piece of content. You're providing a valuable piece of, how to, a tutorial or whatever it is. And then you're recommending things that you get paid for, that you have an affiliate link for. Like, for example, you can write a post like top 10 green recipes, for healthy eating, and then within there you have your Amazon affiliate links, you have your, whatever it is that you suggest, and on how to eat healthy. And because you're providing a way of how to do that, and you're giving the resources to, you're getting paid because they're clicking on your links to get the resources that you use as well.
Yeah, I recommend all of our listeners to read the entire list from Elaine Rao. You mentioned affiliate marketing, and you have that in your article too, which is, and we can only cover so much in the podcast, but that's another critical way to diversify and to, to monetize your blog and market the way you need to reach people now, as the internet is changing anything. Well, Elaine Rao, this has been a great discussion on getting started up and succeeding as an online blogger. Do you have any final points you would like to share with our audience?
No, that's it.
Okay. Elaine Rao, thank you for being such a great guest on the Home Business Podcast. To learn more about Elaine Rao and Lady Boss Blogger and information on her blogging success tips, visit LadyBossBlogger.com or our podcast website for information on guests.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Home Business Podcast. Share your feedback with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our website, homebusinessmag.com.
Visit the website for information on advertising. Subscribe free to our newsletter. Please visit our sponsors. For more information, visit homebusinessmag.com or the Home Business Expo at homebusinessexpo.com.
I'm Richard Captain Henderson saying anchors away.
And I'm Sherilyn Colleen. We'll talk with you soon. Until then,
make it a great home-based biz day.